I want to go through an RNZ article just quickly because they've done a big list up for us morons on the winners and the losers from 20 past 5 this afternoon. It seems to me that they're drinking a little bit of the national Kool-Aid because they're talking about 1.9 million households will benefit. I guess they're saying literally the winners are, even if it's only a few bucks.
Yep.
Roads, health, getting something as well. Landlords, obviously, big winners. Police, education, Māori, $12 million for kohanga reo. I guess that's one kohanga reo property maintenance. That's one part for Māori that will be good. It seems like it might be the only one. Te Matatini received another boost this year's budget from 2025. They will get 48.7 million over 3 years. That goes with the 34 million over 2 years the National Kapahaka Festival received in budget 2023. National Disaster Response, local councils. The losers. Okay. The countries, and now I'm happy for you to speak to any of these, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just list them out and then you can come back to them if you like. We've got the country's debt level, obviously borrowing more. Tax evaders are the losers, apparently. The next lot of first-year uni students, overseas student loan borrowers, online gambling operations, Māori, and then it lists Te Akawhaora, a Māori Health Authority, funding 40 million to the new supply and capability of Māori housing is being cut. $20 million funding for rangatahi transitional housing. Losers. This is one as well, which kind of went under the radar until a bit of investigation went on. New Zealand Film Commission, New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, and Nai Taonga Sound and Vision. The government saving 5.55 million over 4 years by spending less on those institutions. Consumer Advocacy Council, energy programs, Wellington Science City Project, and Farmac. Some pretty big things in there for the losers. Is there anything that you identify that you can pick out of there that we need to know a bit more about, like that some of the more important ones than the others?
Well, let me start with the Māori one there, where they've got those as a winner. So if I look at what we call Vote Māori Development, which is all the spending on Māori development in the budget. Now, this here is Vote Māori Development. I don't know if you can see that. One of the things you can see is that there's actually no new spending in Vote Māori Development.
Right.
At all.
Okay.
What there is a number in brackets, which is called savings and revenue. And it says, over the next 4 years, Māori Development will save $96.7 million. So that's a cut to Māori Development of $96.7 million. There's not a saving. There's no new spending in this area. That's also true, by the way, for Pacific Peoples. The entirety of Pacific Peoples has no new spending in it, but it does save $25.6 million across the forecast period. So there's about $130 million from those two community centres gone. Not replaced with anything.
So for us extra slow ones, because there's no new spending, if they're saving it, it means they have to be taking it out, hence a cut.
Yes, correct. So that's a cut. And you also lose inflation. So because inflation last year is about 4%, that's a real terms cut of 4%, and you lose $130 million from those two departments across the next 4 years. So that's not really, there's no real winners in this space. But you did right. There's a range of programs that are being cut in that space. Emergency housing is also being cut in that space. And at a time of hugely increased demand. In terms of some of the other areas that you highlighted, you're right. Sort of there were the symphony orchestra, or a range of other smaller arts, culture, and heritage programs are being cut. You could see that the energy programs are being cut. So the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority loses approximately $160 million across the forecast period. And that's because all of the programs designed to tackle climate change have been cut.
So when we hear Chloe going, this is an attack on climate change, this is the area she's talking about, energy programs.
So there's a specific program called the Climate Emergency Response Fund, which had approximately $1.5 billion left in it. That's all gone. That's disappeared. So all of that money that could have gone to tackling climate change, that's disappeared. We also had a program called the National Resilience Plan that was designed to pay for the kinds of infrastructure we would need to respond to climate change, to natural disasters, to Cyclone Gabrielle, to that sort of thing. That's disappeared.
Right.
So there's a range of areas where you go, well, hang on a second, we're just not planning for the future. That it's that very short-term view of what good is. If it's good for today, that's fantastic. Anything longer than that, forget about it. We'll have the money back.
Shocking. Chewy, I've got another question to ask. It's not really on the budget so much. So do you got anything you want to jump in with?
I don't like hearing my own words back from someone much smarter than me. I want someone smarter than me to come on and say, "No, Chewy, you're wrong. You're overreacting."
No,
it's not really like that. And then you've just said exactly what I've said time and time again.
No, I was asked earlier today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was the budget? And I said it's about an 8. It's not Liz Truss. Don't go out and buy a lettuce. There's no, the economy is not about to. No, well, with your tax cut, Chewy, you can afford at least half of one. But or at least one over a fortnight. But in terms of there's no lettuce needed here. The economy is not about to fall over, and that's a good thing, right? But it's pretty bad. There are a range of cuts to programs right across government, and they're not done in a kind of coherent sense. They're just arbitrary things that are being cut in terms of government spending. There's quite clearly a lean away from spending on young people, on spending on Māori Pacifica communities, on spending on low-income households. But there's quite clearly a lean towards spending on more roads. There's quite clearly a lean on supporting landlords. There's quite clearly lean, on making sure that the government is delivering to its voting base rather than to delivering the needs of New Zealanders.